Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in MTG. I'm your host, Nitsa Hone, and this is a weekly recap and analysis of this week's big Magic the Gathering news, all in one video that is 10 minutes or less. This video goes up every week on Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This week, we're talking all about Kaladesh, as we're looking at Wizards' announcements about the Inventions, which will be found in Kaladesh booster packs, and the announcement about future Masterpiece sets, as well as some of the biggest spoilers of the week. Arguably, the biggest announcement of the week was the announcement that, similar to the Expeditions from Battle for Zendikar block, Kaladesh packs would contain super rare reprints of some famous cards from Magic's past, as well as alternate printings of cards that are contained within Kaladesh itself. While in Battle for Zendikar block, this meant including famous lands from Magic's past, since Battle for Zendikar was a land-crazy set. In Kaladesh, we are getting Inventions, famous artifacts from Magic's past, made to fit into the Kaladesh style of artifact. Among the cards included are the Gearhulk cycle, but the cards that have the most people excited are probably the cards that are staples in other formats, like, as you can see here, Ether Vial, Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, and Painter's Servant. There are 30 of these in total, so there's a ton of them. So there are others that you can look at. You can click on the link in the description below to see all of them, but they're all pretty cool. They're all cards that are staples somewhere, whether it's in Modern or Commander or somewhere. What's more, though, the inclusion of these super rare cards isn't just something that will have only occurred in Battle for Zendikar block and Kaladesh block. It's something we can be expecting in the future, and is something Wizards is referring to as the Masterpiece series. This is a way that Wizards can include reprints of important cards without allowing them to be standard legal, while also being good for their bottom line, as people are going to be after these sweet new reprints. It is unclear what the theme will be in Amonkhet, but once we know more about the block, we can probably make a few guesses. All of Kaladesh was spoiled earlier today, so here are a few of the Kaladesh spoilers generating the most buzz from the last week. Foundry Inspector has a lot of people excited because in conjunction with Herald of Kozilek and Standard, it is possible to make 2-mana artifacts cost 0, enabling some crazy shenanigans. There's even some buzz about the possibility of an Eggs deck in Standard, which personally I hope doesn't happen because Eggs-type decks are terrible to play against and even more terrible to watch. The other card that's generating a lot of buzz is Fumigate. It gives us a new board sweeper in Standard, just as Languish and Tragic Arrogance are rotating out, and it is a surprisingly powerful one. It isn't conditional at all, and even comes with a bit of gravy in that it gains you a bunch of life. It will definitely be seeing play in Control decks in Standard. We also had the final Planeswalker card in the set revealed, Dovin Baan, and he looks to be very powerful and a good reason to be in a blue-white Control deck in Standard, between his ability to weaken creatures and turn off their activated abilities, the ability to draw you cards. Those are both things that you really want to be doing. I think it might potentially actually be better if the +1 drew you cards and the -1 weakened the opponent's creatures, but either way, he seems to be a pretty strong Planeswalker. A few more cards that are generating some buzz include Insidious Will. Some people are saying that the Insidious Will is the best counterspell in Standard in a long time. I think this might be a bit of an overstatement, since Silumgar's Scorn was pretty good for as long as playing Dragons was good, but Insidious Will is definitely incredibly good. You get a lot of options with it. It can allow you to redirect spells, or copy spells, or counter spells, and that's a ton of flexibility. For instance, if your opponent's using a spell that draws them a bunch of cards, you may not actually want to counter it. You may just want to copy it and draw your own cards. And if they're using a kill spell, you may actually, instead of countering it, want to aim it at their own creatures, giving you a 2-for-1. So that kind of flexibility is awesome. Toolcraft Exemplar is an insanely good rate for an aggressive creature, potentially 1 mana for a 3/2 with First Strike, and because of that, there's a lot of buzz around about the potential for an artifact-based aggro deck featuring the Exemplar, and I think that buzz is warranted. I think there's other cards in the set in addition to the Exemplar, as well as cards from older sets that are still going to be in Standard that make the idea of playing an artifact-heavy aggro deck a good idea. Finally, Scrap Heap Scrounger is getting a lot of buzz for its potential to appear in Delirium self-mill decks in Standard, where it works incredibly well with Prized Amalgam because it helps bring the Amalgam back from the graveyard and so forth. Anyway, this is sort of a short video, but that does it for this week. It was basically just all Kaladesh, not a lot of other announcements or news. But speaking of Kaladesh, if you get a chance, you should check out my ongoing limited review of the set, as well as make sure to enter into my Kaladesh giveaway. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to make sure you get MTG This Week each and every week.